Oh my Lord. It's the apartment again. I'm Asif Ali. This is
Ali Baluch.
And my. Do we have a fun one for you?
It's a good one today. It's a good one. I'm excited. I'm looking forward. You know.
Who's our guest?
Representing Koreatown, Los Angeles, battler to my left. Introduce yourself.
Dumbfoundead, what's good? Hey.
Dumbfoundead. He is a Korean American rapper.
Yeah.
But above all that, he's just a dope rapper.
Argentinian Korean.
Oh, we'll get into that.
We'll explain how he's from Argentina.
Mm-hmm. His parents speak Korean and Spanish, not much English.
Yeah, which is very fascinating. We'll dive into that.
Very fascinating.
He is a super talented rapper, actor, battle rapper. Battle rapping is like what you think it is. We'll explain it in more.
Back when it was off the top of the head, though.
Yeah.
None of this written shit.
Yeah, so he's super talented. And we bring it up in the interview. I freaking harassed this poor guy for like 2 to 3 months every day.
You were blowing up his DMs.
I texted, like, I will go through my text and there's like 5, like 10 of it, like, hey, what's up? You free? Hey, what's up? You free? I'm surprised, he was like, because he gave me his number when I reached out. He was like, yeah, he didn't send me to.
I'm surprised he didn't put a restraining order on you.
I'm surprised he didn't send me to like his PR people, his management,
police.
his like publicist. He didn't send me. He was like, I messaged him and he was like, yeah, here's my number and let's do this. And he was super cool, super supportive. I was really appreciative that he took time to do it because he's about to go on this really crazy tour.
And we'll get into all of that in the episode. It's an amazing tour. But first, we need to talk to you about our sponsor, Adidas. Adidas, if you zip it up all the way, you can put a Subway footlong into it and sneak into a movie theater. Adidas, multifaceted, always in fashion.
Very true.
So shop adidas.com. Promo.
Really? That was funny? The imagery of me putting a Subway
and going into Moana with the Subway footlong in your jacket.
Okay.
Taking it out,
Is
unwrapping
that turkey? I would.
No, you would get that meatball shit. It'd stink up the entire movie theater.
No, I'd get tuna because it's more healthier.
Anyways, shout out to our sponsor.
I would do that with
Adidas.
Chipotle, okay? Chipotle, there's no smell to Chipotle, so
shout out to our sponsor, Adidas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us again. Yeah. What's been going on with you other than harassing? Just been harassing.
Man, I just got done the other week with my short film.
Yeah.
And my short film's killing it.
Check it out. It's called Disregards on his YouTube channel.
I got 50K views on that shit.
You didn't even have to show your dick?
I didn't have to pull out my genital for that. And
interesting.
50,000 people watched it. I feel like 25,000 people watched it twice.
That's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Doesn't matter. I am still on TBS's Wrecked. It airs Tuesdays, 10/9 Central.
Oh my God, you have a T-shirt.
So what I need you guys to do is just hit up that TBS app or go to your parents' house and watch it on demand or whatever, or just download it illegally. Whatever you need to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Second season we start shooting in March.
Do you really want to tell them to download it illegally? Aren't you going to be like kicked off TBS?
Yes,
now?
I will be kicked off. So please do not download it illegally. Find legal means in which to watch it and
go
then watch
on TBS. I watched it by going on TBS.com.
TBS has an app. TBS.com. Check it out. Watch it on there.
Yeah.
And if you have a cable code, you can also watch it that way.
That's what I do.
The show's great. I'm very proud of it. And to be fair, I've done a lot of shows that have been garbage, and I would never promote it or talk about it. So please watch that. And I'm doing a vlog about this episode.
Cool.
It's been fun.
Cool.
Guys, this episode is great. It's hip hop. It's real.
Yep.
It's deep.
And for those of you who are new, welcome to the apartment.
Yeah, welcome.
We sit, and this is what we missed on the last one.
Yeah, and I know I just want people who are just starting to watch the show now. I don't normally wear a Wrecked shirt.
So for those of you who are new, this is Asif Ali, the star of TBS's Wrecked. My name is Ali Baluch. I am a producer on MTV's Ridiculousness. And this is the apartment, our podcast, visual, audio, video, whatever podcast, where we sit with our favorite, and our producer's favorite sometimes, creators, influencers, artists, musicians, athletes, actors. And
we celebrate diversity.
We celebrate diversity.
People who would normally not get interviewed in the traditional sense of the world, but are doing dope amazing things
that they need to be highlighted, man.
And have great fan bases,
like
but aren't necessarily
like Dumbfoundead is doing dope shit, and he needs to be highlighted. Guys like him.
He's been doing dope shit.
He's been. So check out, get comfortable if you're listening to this on the road. Eyes on the road, stereo up, get comfortable. This is episode, I don't even know what, 19 or something.
Dumbfoundead. Enjoy.
How far were you? Are you based in Koreatown?
Yeah, I live like a couple blocks from here actually, which is crazy. I mean, I grew up around this neighborhood my whole life, so it's just completely like I know this whole neighborhood. So.
Yeah. Your family history is very fascinating because you're Argentinian.
Well, yeah, I was born Argentinian.
Nationally,
wow, that's crazy.
So that's crazy, and then how your mom came to the U.S. But we'll start with like your family moved into Argentina. Like your mom and dad, that's where they met, correct?
Yeah. My mom and dad are both Korean, not Latino. But they both moved to Argentina when their parents, when they were like teenagers.
Okay.
And I guess there was a huge immigration of Asians there at the time or something.
Wow.
And then they met each other, got married, had me and my little sister, and then moved to Los Angeles when we were like really little.
Yeah.
So,
but like your dad came first, correct?
Yeah. And then my mom.
This is the interesting part.
Yeah, but my mom, we had to go through we had to sneak in through the Mexican border actually.
Really?
Through the coyotes, where which are the guys who like sneak in people.
Yeah, the smugglers.
Yeah, so they had my mom went through that with some other like families, and then she was holding like 2 babies, which is me at 3 years old. My sister was 1.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's the whole crazy story that I heard from my mom.
Like a lot of it's all on foot, you know?
Yeah. No, my mom had some like she told me that whole journey was pretty scary.
Yeah,
you know
I can imagine. Yeah.
So
it's scary, it's stressful, and you have children with you.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like you read about these stories, like you hear about them, especially going on like in Syria and the refugee crisis, where it's like these people are like traveling with their life on their back.
On your back.
Like you got a backpack full of everything, like all your documents, your pictures, everything that you've ever had. And then like you have kids as well, man. That's intense. And then do they settle here in K-Town?
Yeah, so they were here in Koreatown, Los Angeles, and we've been here pretty much our whole lives. Yeah. I mean, all of us like live in this city, in this area,
for sure,
so
man.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So you, what year kind of did you guys settle in? Was it like late 80s or?
It was about like 1990. Like, yeah, so we've been here since then, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were really young during the riots then.
Yeah, I was really young. No, I came here in 1989. So I was like probably 6 or 7 or something like that.
Wow.
But it was crazy. And then it's crazy because my mom and dad both speak fluent Spanish and Korean.
And English.
So, yeah, they speak a little English, but the crazy thing is they didn't really learn too much English because they were like, we're in Koreatown. Everybody speaks Korean and Spanish. So we're like, why the fuck we got to learn English?
Oh, that's so right.
Yeah.
Because Koreatown split like 50% Mexican and
exactly.
50%
So they were just
Asian.
like, yo, we're set. We're good.
Yeah, so they don't.
Wow.
That's amazing, man, and it just kind of worked out.
English is their third language. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
man,
been like that. They're like, yo, we got everything here. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like, at like what age kind of did you like just fall into like? Did you grow up listening to hip hop? Did that like resonate with you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think, now music is like everybody listens to everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But before, like, I think it was a little bit separated. Like, there were like the rock kids and like the hip hop
very
kids.
separated.
And like early on, I got into hip hop. Like hip hop was my first thing. And then when I got into high school, I definitely started expanding my music. Like I started listening to a lot of rock. I was like a rocker kid for a while, but I was always like into hip hop too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think hip hop, like, that's kind of like the side I chose, when I was growing up.
Right.
So, listening to West Coast hip hop, East Coast, like meeting a lot of friends that introduced me to that stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I got into high school, I just started rapping.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of kids in my school were doing it, and my neighborhood were doing it.
For sure.
It just kind of was a fun thing for me to do, just freestyle and then battle rap, because I was like a class clown. It was easy for me to like roast people and with a rhyming, with a rhyming touch to it. So,
But that's like, and then from there, just to bring back to the last episode that we aired.
Yeah.
We were talking about Asian American artists, and we brought up Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry for bringing it back up.
He's not exactly a rapper's rapper.
I know, I'm just saying.
Nah, I mean, he definitely.
He's cool,
there's not a lot of rappers who can say like they have albums with like Jay-Z.
Right.
No, it's just
Right,
like
yeah.
and I bring that up because we were talking to Phil about it, because like they were like the first like rock group that had an Asian American lead,
And I'm friends with Johan, the DJ.
and they had
He's
Johan
Korean,
as the
so,
DJ. Yeah, and that's insane, Like,
I mean, there weren't too many at the time, but there was obviously Jin. Jin was like, he's definitely like the main OG of like America, I would say. I mean, there's other rap figures in historical sense, but he was the first like really big one that people were like, oh, this dude's Asian, and he's like on TV representing.
On those
he was
BET rap battles.
Yeah, so that was the first time that I think every Asian person who was into hip hop or not was like, oh damn, there's this Asian dude.
Yeah.
So he was definitely like a hero too. I mean, when I was younger, just turning on the TV, seeing that dude like really kill it, and he was killing it in those battles.
He was good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't just like an Asian dude; he was actually killing dudes on TV. So that was like a big deal for sure.
For sure. What was it where you're like, all right, I can actually do this? Because like, dude, what you guys do, like battle rap?
It's hard.
Do you still do that? Like,
I haven't.
Now it's just more like music.
No, yeah. Now it's definitely more music, doing shows. Still working a lot of music. I do a lot of acting too, but like, the battle stuff was like, I started so early. I started battle rapping when I was like 15, and then like, my last battle was like about a year or two ago. So that was pretty much the end, I would say. I mean, because that was like, and people were like, I can't believe it's like, dude, that's a long ass run.
Yeah, how long do you want me to do this shit?
Yeah, it's a long ass run. I mean, I could still do it. If I want to get a battle, I can still get a battle, but it's not any project that I'm interested in right now. And I wouldn't say it's like, maybe I'll never battle again, but I don't see it happening unless it's like something really interesting.
Also, a lot of battling, I feel like, for me and my brother used to watch it all the time, is that a lot of people battle because they're like, oh, I need the exposure, and it's like a respect thing, and I can build my name in the community. But like once you've reached that, you're like, what am I getting out of this?
Yeah,
anymore?
I mean, it's not even that. For me, it's like I just treat each battle like some kind of like thing we're making, like a project or a short film or like an album. It's like that's how I see it. Like if you really look up my battles online, I don't have like a shitload of battles like a lot of these battle rappers. I just chose specific battles particular because I wanted to like have its own thing to it. Like it's like having 8 albums up or something. You know what I mean? And they're all like different and interesting. So
it's I used to do like a lot of like sparring and boxing growing up, and that was like the only close thing to, like, and I did like basketball like in high school, but that was like the nerves that I would get before we get in the ring. It was like I would, like my stomach was, my whatever was in my throat, my heart, like it was just like pounding.
Right.
And I can't imagine how crazy that must be for like battle rap, because it's like if you like stutter on a line, if something, I feel like the crowd, like you're in a room full of hundreds of people.
Yo, and I know how, there's perks to being short. I don't care what y'all think. When you got small feet, you can get the Jordans all cheap. When you,
in that way, it's kind of like YouTube, where it's like right when they see it, they're like pounce on you.
Yeah. Like real talk, how nerve-wracking do you get before a show? Because you're like, you got to like go over all your like notes or your
I mean, I think for battle rap, it's definitely more nerve-wracking than like a performance. Like if I'm doing a show, with a show there's a beat and there's people are going there to see you, but for battle, they're technically kind of going there to see you either kill or get killed.
Right.
So it is nerve-wracking. Like, you don't know who's in the audience, who's really cheering for you. And in the end, they're just cheering for who has the illest lines, you know? So, it could throw you off easily when someone like hits you with a really good line, or one of your lines don't hit. It'll just.
How do you keep your composure when someone gets you good? Because I always find that very like when I.
You just gotta act like it didn't phase you. You're just like, no, that was it. Like, even though you knew it did.
Even though inside you're like, oh god,
you're like crying inside. You're like, that was it, son. Come on, son. And just crying inside, just completely. Yeah, it's like acting.
Yeah. No, but like the build up to it, like the drive to the venue, you know, and then waiting, you know, like does
that sucks.
the
It
nerves
sucks. Yeah,
kick in?
it's because you prepare like all month for it or however long. Sometimes it's only like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it sucks. It really sucks because all you're doing is thinking about this one dude for the month. You know, it drives me fucking crazy. That's one reason I don't want to do it, because I don't want to think about one dude all month. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And the thing that's even crazier about that is like I do stand up a lot, and it's like if I'm to have like a showcase or whatever coming up, I can just do a shit ton of shows and figure out my set, iron it out. That way, when I do the showcase, I'm like, I got it. It's fine. This stuff is already crushed a million times. I'm gonna be fine. What you're doing, it's like you can't.
It's catered to one person.
So you can't like
Practice
work
it.
a battle out on other people if it's not that
you could,
guy.
You could.
Yeah?
I mean, people do that all the time. You could, like, people run through lines, like,
Okay.
with other fellow battle rappers, be like, yo, is this shit good? Like the comedian does, you know?
Okay.
Like, yo, you like this bit? What do you think it's funny? You know, like, they do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's an unspoken thing, but I know I've done it, and I know a bunch of other battle rappers do it, too.
Yeah.
You know, like, we hit each other up and we ask about it, but it's hard because we write so much stuff and things that we think are going to be amazing. Like, we run it by our friends and they just shit on it, you know? It's like, but, yeah. So, I mean, you just write a lot and you just use like the best parts, you know?
Right, of course.
Yeah. So when was it where you're like, okay, let's take this out from like doing it from like at school, from the cafeteria. I can actually go to a venue with people, you know, because I feel like that was kind of like, was that like the kind of launching point for everything else in your career, you know?
When I was doing the battles? Or
Yeah.
Because that was like, I felt like that was pretty early on too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wasn't really writing songs or recording, you know what I mean? A lot of people start from different areas of like emceeing. For me, it started with freestyle and battling.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to actually making music, because the battles and freestyles was just like, that came a lot more natural to me just because I love jamming with friends. And also, like, I was a class clown. I love cracking jokes. So it was easy to put that into rhyme form, you know what I mean? But, and then later on, I just got into making songs, and I just, like, really loved it. And I started putting out songs and me recording songs on YouTube, and people were like, oh, I think I kind of realized that I had to transition there, at least into like putting out my own content, because like all these videos I had online, I had like hundreds of videos on YouTube of me freestyling or battling, but it was all from other people, you know?
Oh, shit. Okay.
So I was like, yo, I hadn't put out a single video, and I already had like hundreds of videos online, whether it was like me, like a young me, like freestyling in like a parking lot.
Bitch with a smelly thing, you know what I mean? I ain't Chinese, I am you times 3, why me? Why the fuck you first me with
or whatever the fuck, you know? So I just started doing that, and I started making videos, and just that's when I kind of got into the whole YouTube thing.
Right.
know?
So
response.
so when you were starting out and you were like, I'm gonna take control of the stuff that's being put out, you know, I want to control what's, you know, my music that I'm putting out, you know, and you were starting out in a time where, I mean, like you were saying, like Jin is in a way still the only, like, in your guys' class of like that sort of broke the mold for the image of an Asian American rapper or whatever.
Right.
So what was the response? Was it like, oh, this is great? Or was it almost like that thing of like, what does this guy think?
No, I think there were already a lot of Asian rappers, you know, on like existing. I knew of a lot of Asian rappers, but there were only like a couple that were like making a living off of it, or looked like they were really serious about it, not like a kid in his bedroom recording, you know what I mean? And I wasn't that serious. I mean, I was serious about my craft, but I wasn't like, I didn't have a street team. I wasn't planning an album. No, I wasn't doing that. So the only people that were doing that was like Jin, Far East Movement. They were like the only ones that were doing that, and everybody else was just like kids on YouTube. You know what I mean? So I remember like Tim was on there, and Deep Pride, Lil Crazed. These are names I didn't even know about, you know, until I actually got onto YouTube, and one of my mentors during that time, like, he just put me onto this YouTube world. Like, I didn't know YouTube had a scene, you know what I mean? I just thought it was a platform, and he was telling, and then he introduced me to like Wax and like rappers like that, and I was like, oh, this dude is actually really tight. So that's when I became really good friends with Wax. But at the time, like, I didn't know about the scene, you know what I mean? And I think it was at the time, it was still kind of developing more too, you know? But there were regulars already on there. And then I met Tim and Wax and became really good friends with them. And, you know, like cats like that helped me out a lot too early on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how's tour life? I mean, because like I feel like from transitioning from, you know, going to one spot for a one show battle to like multiple cities, you know, how big is your team that goes with you? Is it just you solo?
Usually
bouncing around, or
no, when I go on tour, it's usually like I'm about to go on my first headlining tour, which is not like under another artist.
Yeah, awesome.
So this is gonna be a good one, and then I'm bringing friends of mine to open up for me.
Yeah.
And then I go with a DJ, and then I go with a videographer, and then like one tour manager. So it's about like 6 people total. So I always try to take like at least a videographer and like a tour manager because you need to, you know, it's hard to do those things like when you're also the artist, you know.
Right.
Yeah, we just fuck up.
How long have you been? Yeah, that's true. How long have you been touring for?
Man, I've been touring for like over 10 years probably.
Ooh, wow.
I've been touring since I was like probably like
I want to hear some
or something like
damn.
that. Like
after what Phil just said right when he left. I want to hear some crazy stories. man.
Yeah.
What are some
crazy
like,
stories.
Are there fights that happen on tour? Because like I don't know, like I
yeah.
feel like since you come from like this battle rap, like it's this very confrontational world that you've kind of like created, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it like?
And I feel
does
like
it-
when people know you from that world, there's some dudes
Does
who
it
are like, I
leave?
want to see how far this person.
Does it like whatever happens at the venue stays at the venue, or does that shit go with you like outside?
And he wouldn't let us sting aim if he had a screen name. This baby boy would get Ving Rhames. I'll hit you until you wake up in the scriptures from what you fucking.
No, I mean it's. I think I've gotten more fights with people inside on the tour. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, because you're in a van with a bunch of dudes like the whole time, and you start getting really annoyed of people, even like your closest friends. Like I've
Yeah.
punched out a dude. He wasn't like my closest friend,
Right.
but he was on the tour with me. And I punched a dude, and I'm not like a really violent person like
Right.
that, you know. But he just
He just
we
kept
got
chewing.
into
He
it.
kept
and,
chewing. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
and then we also didn't have any place to just like
Chill
get
out.
space, you know. So it's like we're constantly in there, and tension's gonna build, and then
Shit.
some shit went down. But yeah, I mean, tour is crazy, man. It's tough. It's a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of girls. Like, you know, it's tough. Like I think now, every tour I've gone on after that, like it progressively got a little bit more tame because I'm getting older, but not really. Like, because I'm still like the biggest partier out of everybody on tour. But this one might be different because like the friends I'm taking. But like when I went on tour with Watsky, I was like out of that bunch, like I was definitely the hardest partier. And I'm talking about like there was like 15 people on that tour, and like nobody was touching me on that in like Europe or US. I was wilding out, you know. And everybody has a fair share of partying, but like when I'm in a new city, I want to explore. Even no matter how tired, I still go out. You know what I mean? I'll still explore and have fun. So
that's really unheard of for a lot of artists because they're like, yo, we're in, we're out, we have no time.
I need tea with honey,
We have-
and I gotta go to.
We have no time to sightsee or anything.
I mean, there's a lot of time to like we drive then to the next city, and that's a lot of hours the next day. So to me, it's like I might as well just go out and just sleep in the car the next day.
True.
That might be for people who can't sleep. Like I can knock out anywhere.
Me too.
Like I can knock out.
It's like a problem.
It's like a useless superpower. It's like
Like on
I
planes.
can fall asleep anywhere. Like I can sleep through a tornado.
It's important though, because I go on tour, not as much as you, but shit, I go out and it's like, I know people who are like, I can't sleep on planes, and you're like, what?
Right.
How the fuck how are you gonna do this as a career if you can't sleep on a plane?
Right.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely very low maintenance when it comes to these tours. I've done so many shitty tours. I still go on shitty tours. My shit ain't glamorous. You know what I'm saying?
Do you blame people for that? Like your management, your agency, where you're like, why the fuck did you get me this?
This is all part of the grind. You know what I'm saying? Until I get to a point where like they're gonna put me in 5-star hotels and shit. That's fine. But like. I'm so used to it though that it's like it's all good. Like I have fun with the low budget tours too. Honestly,
those are sometimes the most fun ones.
Yeah, until you ride business class and you're like, fuck that, I'm never going to coach again.
Damn it.
Which happened. I wrote like business class like only for the first time this past year.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's the best, isn't it?
This shit is like way better than coach. Like
I got leg space, man. They give you a blanket, champagne. You're like, I'm loving this.
I've done first class only once, and it was earlier this year. Verizon paid for it.
So you were wilding out on tour. Do you feel like sometimes you'd be wilding out and people just be like, when's this guy gonna calm down?
I mean, people like spoke to me about it. Like there were people on tour like pulled me to the side, like, yo, you gotta chill.
Yeah.
It's all good. I mean, I'm like mad chill now. Like I'm more mature. I know. Like even if I partied, that didn't mean like I was like late to anything.
Right.
I got up early, so I don't think anybody could really say shit to me because I was like always still responsible. You know?
Yeah.
You have any crazy like fan encounters?
Ooh.
Crazy fan encounters? Nah. I mean, yeah, it's weird because I have this weird division of fans, like a section of fans that's like K-pop fans, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and K-pop fans,
They don't fuck around. They're obsessed.
The fucking craziest.
Yeah.
I love them too for that because they're so down for the artist, and it's not like having like an underground rap fan. Like those fans are like, they're cool and they're down with you, but they're not K-pop fans. K-pop fans will fucking ride or die for you. They will shoot somebody for you. Like they will hold you down, bro. They will hold you down. It's like a ride or die thing, bro.
Yeah.
So have you done like collabs with like K-pop artists?
Yeah. I've done a lot of collabs with K-pop artists, which probably explains that. I also hosted a show on this big Korean network where it was like a pop culture show. And, I was on it and I interviewed a bunch of K-pop artists. So some of those K-pop fans know me from that, but mainly because I'm somehow in there too, in that world. And also, if you're like a Korean rapper out in Korea, you're kind of categorized into K-pop too. So like me being a Korean dude out here and one of the few who are rapping out here, I've kind of got in that scene, you know what I'm saying? Which is cool for me because I'm like, yo, more fans, I'll take them wherever you can give me. But
okay, you know, like you recently came back from Korea, right? You had some performances there and whatnot. A lot of not to say a lot, there are some Asian American artists, performers, actors, whatever, that they really don't want to associate with their like cultural background and their ethnicity, where there's like, that's my parents, that's not me. But I feel like you've really embraced that, and you've really, you know, like, you know, you talk about K-pop and you hosted something for Korea. Like, what made you be like, you know what, this is my identity?
And how do you find that balance?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you know, growing up in America, like I definitely had issues with, you know, identity issues. I think a lot, like a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? And I went through that too. I was like, nah, man, you know, I'm American. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then like as I got older, I started, you know, having pride in who I was and the background I come from, and started really embracing it, mainly because I was touring a lot and going into these like cities that aren't Los Angeles that has a shitload of Asians. You know, I'm talking like Midwest and stuff. I would meet these like only Korean kids, the only Asian kids in that community, like coming up to me like, bro, you're my hero.
They're like, I'm all alone here,
and I was
man.
like, oh shit, like this is like bigger than rap, you know what I'm saying? This is bigger than hip hop. And that's when I really started embracing it, because I was like, yo, like these kids like are looking up to you, you know, as a hero and like as a voice, you know what I'm saying? And me coming from LA, I think I took it for granted. I was just so used to it because there are tons of Asians here. Of course, so and especially with the entertainment community, there's so many entertainers here too. So it doesn't even feel like we're really like full on minorities here. There is a community that we can at least talk to, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of other places that you know, they only have access to us through like, you know, whether it's YouTube or whatnot.
I mean, I was the same way. I grew up in Arizona, and there's like no Indian people there at all.
Right.
So anytime I saw anything with an Indian person, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we live in Koreatown right now. This is like the second biggest Korean community after Korea. You know what I'm saying? In the world.
Wow.
In the fucking world. You know, so this is fucking Korea. This is Korea. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So like, I think that's when I kind of just started talking about it more and repping more, because I was like, yo, you know, like, I don't know why I kept shying away from it, trying to get away from it, you know what I'm saying? And then now that I actually like talk about it more, embrace it, like I feel like I'm in a way better place mentally too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, speaking of Koreatown, have you noticed the shift over the past few years here? Like, you know, gentrification basically because like a lot of the neighborhoods, you know, Los Feliz happened, Echo Park, Silver Lake. Do you feel like Koreatown is going to be that next wave of?
I mean, Koreatown is undoubtedly like one of the hippest neighborhoods in Los Angeles. For sure. Like I would say probably top 3 right now.
I love this neighborhood so much.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I think everybody could admit that it's not like before. It used to be like Silver Lake, the hip spot and shit like that, but we have far more culture here in Koreatown. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. It's not manufactured like it is in the other city. Here it's real.
Are you worried that like over the next like coming years, it's just going to be kind of pushed out by these like hipster white kids that are gonna yuppies are gonna.
Oh yeah, I mean it's already happening too. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important that while that happens, I think that's inevitable. It's gonna happen, but it's about still keeping true with all the local businesses and make sure they all grow together. You know what I'm saying? And then not forget about that and not push out the natives pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
And push out the culture, which is the thing that's most important.
And I think there's been a good a balance of it actually, because I know a lot of young Korean American kids here whose parents own businesses here that they've kind of taken on that tradition and opened up their own stuff too.
Oh no way, that's amazing.
There's actually a lot of that. My boy Roy Choi too. With the Lion Hotel commissary pot.
Yeah.
He's really made sure that when he came here and did that, he didn't stomp on any toes, and he kind of still respected all the surrounding businesses and stuff.
No, for sure.
And there's a lot of that going with my boy Chris, with Soul Sausage, Escala, with boy Chino. There's a lot of these businesses out here that are still very, it's just a new generation of what's Koreatown.
Yeah, I mean? So, but I feel like they are, and that's the thing, they are having that respect for the community, the culture.
Oh, for sure.
And there's the history of this town, of this neighborhood is so rich that I'm even not even from Koreatown, but I'm if I'm gonna be living here, at least I can know about it, learn about it, and support the local businesses. Right. Because you can see people coming in, and then it's shit. There's an open retail spot, and you're just I hope that doesn't become a little CrossFit spot,
Press juicery or some shit like that.
But I mean, it's just it's really what it is. It's just everybody it's millennials too. It's just it's not even just the culture thing. It's the age groups too.
Totally.
Even whether it could be young white yuppies or whatever, but there's still asshole young Korean kids too. You know what I'm saying? That'll come in and
asshole
do some
knows
fucked up
no
shit.
bounds.
True. So it's just it's inevitable, but it's just about it's about knowing the history.
Yeah. Now, okay, when you grew up here, because it's always not weird, but interesting meeting kids that were that grew up here, because a lot of people have moved over here into somewhere in their 20s to mid 20s. They moved here trying to pursue some type of dream, but you grew up here. How was it growing up here in LA? Were you just kind of centered, based in Koreatown? Would you go out to other neighborhoods?
Yeah, did you ever want to leave the city?
Did you
live
ever
anywhere else?
Because this is completely night and day different than Brentwood, or Santa Monica, How often would you leave the neighborhood and
No, I definitely wasn't, engaging in my local neighborhood like that with the businesses and stuff that when I was younger. I was kind of an oddball. I was getting bused to a Valley middle school for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I was I was also just bus missions down to Echo Park or South Central or to Venice, because I was a weirdo kid. The Koreatown kids, generally they go to PC rooms and play pool and smoke cigarettes in parking lots. I wasn't really part of that. I was a young film and music nerd. You know what I'm saying? So I was hanging out with kids in garage bands in Silver Lake and Echo Park, Mexican skater kids, Venice, South Central. I used to go to open mic there when I was young called Project Blowed.
Wow.
I was freestyling there, and that's where I pretty much sharpened my sword. That open mic was probably one of the biggest influences for me when I was young. I started going there when I was about 15, 16. Went there for 5 years after that.
Damn.
And they just have hundreds of MCs who gather there. It's the mecca for freestyler and battler rappers. Yeah, it's in South Central, 43rd and Crenshaw. And I was pretty much fucking taking this. I've busted missions to 43rd and Crenshaw on a Razor scooter from 6th Street. You know what I'm saying? 6th Street to 43rd.
That's
holy shit.
So, and that was all Thursday nights. Thursday nights, every Thursday night it was a weekly open mic. So,
yeah.
And it started at 10 p.m. and I get home at 3 a.m. and go to school or some shit. But I was I'm definitely an LA kid,
Yeah.
And then I think right before I turned 20 and I started getting my name up as a battle rapper is when a lot of the Asian kids started kind of wanting to hang out with me. Before they thought I was a fucking weirdo and shit.
Yeah.
And then, because it was just we were just different, especially this neighborhood. It was a lot of the AZN Pride kids, and I was kind of the weirdo skateboard kid. You know what I'm saying? So But then all of a sudden, the Asian Pride kids started fucking with me because I was like the only Asian battle rapper. And I was like slaying fools. So they were like, yo, this fool is like representing for the Asians. Like, so the fools who used to look at me weird all of a sudden came up to me like, all right, man, you're representing, dog. You know, so I was like, yo, I'm going to ride this shit out. And then Asian girls started fucking with me too before they didn't fuck with me. But
okay, so like what kind of like set you, what, you know, growing up interested you in like the arts, in rap, in film, and like skating and everything else that kind of like set you apart from, you know, like your surrounding? What was it that like really drew you to these other, you know, hobbies or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just being an immigrant kid, like being a latchkey child, just growing up on TV shows and movies, I think that was a big influence on me, just growing up on a lot of television shows and like having freedom to like listen to the Howard Stern show when I was like young. You know? Like it was so weird when I was in 5th grade and I would take I was in the school bus to go to my school, like by like Fairfax or whatever. My school bus driver would play the Howard Stern show every fucking morning.
And by the way, for people who don't know, Howard Stern was much crazier then. Now he's just like an old guy does interviews. Back then it was insanity.
It's not like it's blasted throughout the whole school bus. They don't have like a speaker system, but he just played it like in his area in the front, but it's loud as fuck.
You're
like
just
if
right
I just
there in the
sit in the first half of the school bus, you could hear it. So I didn't know what it was for a long time, but I was like, yo, and then I found out it was the Howard Stern show every morning. I just hear crazy shit every single day. And I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. And it was awesome though. I would literally listen like every day, you know, and I distinctly remember that being like a thing that actually had a big influence on me because I was so into it. Like I would just sit there just like hearing what crazy shit he's gonna say next or what the guests are gonna say next.
Right.
That was, he probably could have gotten fired for that, honestly.
Oh, for sure. Definitely got fired.
The bus driver could have been, you know,
for playing Howard Stern for kids. Definitely fired. Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff. I was just like, you know, all the TV shows, movies, stand-up, and radio shows, everything that I listened to kind of molded me into who I am, really. So and then, you know, just pretty much a nerd.
What were some of the albums that you feel like really made you go, okay, I want to make an album? Because there's certain like battle rapping is like its own thing where like that's its own community, and there, I mean, I don't know how much crossover it is, but from my experience with it didn't seem like there was a ton of successful crossover from battle rapping to they would like studio rappers, right? They'd be like, oh, these studio rappers they just make albums, and then battle rappers just battle. Were there certain albums or artists that you felt like, oh, okay, these are gonna be my guys? I feel like
I mean, you know, I grew up listening to like Tupac a lot. Eminem was huge for me, and a lot of just battle rappers in general too, because he's the biggest battle rapper who made it. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
So his storytelling on like Slim Shady and like Marshall Mathers was like huge for sure for me. And at the time they were like, I remember when I was really getting into music, like, you know, Napster came out. I was downloading like a lot of radio show, like freestyles. Like Sway and King Tech, morning wake up show, freestyles. Eminem when he was like going battling like cannabis. Just the MP3s, you know what I'm saying? Like I would just download those, and that was heavy. But yeah, of course, like all the classics, Ice Cube, Tupac, Biggie, like. But yeah, man, it's crazy because I would say I was never like to this day too. I love listening to all types of music, but I'm not like a music head where I have to have every single album on my phone and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I love just like, I don't like listening to too much stuff all the time because I feel like it influences you too much accidentally as an artist. You might like go in a groove and start sounding too much like a person. So I actually just I like to just take influence randomly, like listen to a song here, listen to a song there, and just keep it moving. But I definitely I'm not a dude who just has a mad hard drives of songs. I don't do that shit. Like, I definitely don't. Or have like earphones on all day. Like that's not my shit. Because I draw a lot of my influences from stuff that's not music related. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's big for me. Like visuals inspire me. Like when I make music, you know, to like. Books or art or whatever. Just
life or whatever.
So I actually like the least amount of inspiration I get from when I make rap is like rap music. I don't get the most inspiration from rap music.
I love that.
Wow.
Yo,
that's really cool.
I want to really dive into this because it sparked my interest when you were talking about how you would take a scooter from 6th to 45th Street or whatever. Just the work ethic that comes into your line of work, because like you didn't get to where you did just by being mediocre. There's a certain level of like talent, skill, hard work and like just hours of experience that got you to where you are right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call it like work experience, you know? Like at that time, it was just like we were kids just smoking blunts and freestyling for hours, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're like clocking in and shit. So it was all fun, you know? I think it's more work now. Like,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, because like now
it's
you're
a business now.
Yeah, like I make a living off this. This is like my full-time job. And like, you know, some months are better than others, but I can do better every month if I like worked harder. You know, if I go in and make songs. If I make an album, like I'm gonna make money. You know, if I make an album, I'm gonna get booked for more shows. So it's like that's important. So as an artist who starts transitioning into somebody who's making money off this, you have to start setting deadlines.
Right.
Before all the years that it got me to that, before it got me to this point, it was just like hours of freestyling, making songs for fun, shit like that. It's more sharpening your sword and getting yourself ready. You know what I'm saying? It's training, really. It's just training. It's not like working. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
It's training, but it's like fun training.
But that's different compared to what we were talking about before we started filming about troll culture now.
Right.
And there's a lot of like young kids that think that, you know, they can freestyle, whatever. They'll hop on YouTube and they'll just say some ridiculous shit, you know? But it's like, and you as an established artist where you're like, yo, like you're insulting the craft basically.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like, I don't, you know, that doesn't really matter to me because that it's like whether they have an audience for that or not, it's not going to cross over into like people going to know, like there's a certain point you get to where people are going to tell you like, that's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's fine. Like if you can find a way to make money off of it, yo, I'm not hating on anybody who can make money off of anything. Like, yo,
go for it.
Go for it. You know what I'm saying? You do your thing, but it's like, yo, you gotta. That person is also gonna get to a point where like, fuck, now what am I gonna do?
Now gotta like learn how to make an actual song.
Make a song or just know that it's not gonna like last forever. That hype, like I'm a firm believer that true like talent will prevail.
Of course,
you know I have tons of friends who've been struggling and then finally they've had their break and now they're famous now.
And then they have like the tools too, because it's one thing to be grinding it out and then get your break and be prepared to handle it.
Oh yeah.
Versus if you're out there and you're just like, oh, I was just making like 1 minute things randomly. Now I don't know what the fuck to do.
No, definitely. Yeah. I have homies who were prepared and they are like on right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's amazing, man. So what did your parents think when you were telling them like, hey,
what I was getting into.
I'm in hip hop. I'm coming home at 3 a.m. My parents would be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what was that
about? Especially like parents that are like fairly new, like 10, 15, 20 years into this country where they're not really familiar with like the culture or that you're getting into,
Yeah, I mean, my parents, they've been split up since we were young, and like during that time, it was just like they were just so stressed out about work and they're split up. Like we were just like free to do anything.
They're like, just don't die, man.
Like me and my little sister were fucking badass teenagers, and we just got away with so much shit because my parents. First of all, like the language barrier.
Of
so
course,
we could just bullshit our way out through that.
A lot of study groups, 3 a.m. study groups. What do you want me to do?
I drop out of high school and be like, they let me out early because I was smart. So like it was shit like that, like literally just through the language barrier, and then also like they just were so busy they just couldn't be on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have fucking babysitters. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't have babysitters around here. Like so. That's why I got to run around LA at such a young age, absorbing the culture. Thank God, like at the end, as me and my sister got older, that we turned out good. Because I know some kids that
could have taken a turn.
Yeah. So, like my sister was even worse than me. Like she was a fucking rebel. Like I was a badass kid, but she was even worse. But now she's like has a kid, like all this shit.
Yeah.
She's like so nice. Like goes on trips with my mom. It's like it's so crazy. Like but. It's just a different path we took, and I'm very blessed. I definitely don't think I could have been a rapper if I didn't get a chance to like find things out on my own.
Yeah, if you had that sort of traditional like be at home study kind of vibe.
for sure.
You kind of benefited. Wow, you might be one of the very few recorded instances of just a wild kid turning it into a career.
Yeah, my dad was still a very traditional, strict like Asian dad. He was cared about academics, like will whoop my ass when it comes to like some bad grade type shit. But like he, it'll just end after that. Like he wasn't on me about it because he's too fucking busy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
When he had time to whip my ass, he would. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't have time to whip your ass today.
Once I can fit this in my schedule,
Yeah,
you're fucking done.
Exactly. So it was just like, you know, he wanted to almost like, he was so busy, but like, and he wanted to, like, he didn't know how to be a good parent. So it was just like a quick way of just like yelling at me real quick. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
But like, they didn't know how to be good, like American parents. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let me ask you this. When you were going out to these battles and stuff, which are, you know, at that time and probably still now are predominantly, you know, Africa, you know, it's black culture, you know, it was probably even more so concentrated like that when how were you received when you came out? Were they like, who's this Asian kid showing up all the time on a scooter? What is this about?
Yeah. I mean, at the time when I first started going to that open mic, you know, I was just absorbing shit. Cause like at the time I was already like freestyler in my circle. Like before I went to the open mic. So I was like already feeling myself, and I went there the first time and I was like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are like really good.
Yeah.
So it was almost like back to the drawing board. It's like a comedian, like, you know, killing it at the local clubs and then all of a sudden going to like comedy stores.
And you see like Chappelle and you're like, oh fuck, man, I suck.
Yeah. So it really, that's why I would say the open mic was a big part of me developing as an artist, because it really showed me what real talent was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, the couple friends around me, I'm the best freestyle out of my couple friends.
Right.
Yeah. So that was my standard. That was my new standard when I went over there. I was like, this is this level I have to be.
Yeah.
So I went there every week, soaked it all in. And then, yeah, of course, like, and then, you know, they didn't that's what I liked about the open mic too. They didn't care if you were Asian or Latino or white.
They're like, if you're
tight,
ill,
tight.
good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, like you look like an outsider, but either way, if you're tight, you're tight. And when I was whack, I was whack.
Right.
They just like ignore me, push me to the side, or roast me or battle me. But
Yeah.
it was never because I was Asian. I think it was just because you were whack. You know what I'm
you're
saying?
either good or you're bad. That's it.
That's all it was. Like if they would battle me and single me out, I never was like, oh, it's because I'm Asian. No, it was because I was whack at the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Have you felt like now that like everything's becoming very more socially conscious, people are becoming more socially conscious, there are certain things you can't say, you can't make certain homophobic slurs or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's tough for me because as I get older, it is I start not wanting to say certain shit. You know, like I always say this because rap is like a culture that's very it's a youth culture, heavily youth culture, and you know, it comes with this I don't give a fuck attitude.
That's
the
whole thing. It's like punk rock in that way.
Yeah, but as you get older, you start giving a fuck about shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a problem.
So it becomes a struggle. Like, I mean, for me, there's still a lot of battle rappers who don't get, my boy Disaster, he don't give a fuck. Like, that fool will get homophobic, racist, or whatever. But he's my boy. He's good at what he does. For me, personally, like, it's hard for me to say certain things. Like, I have a few battles, my old battles, where I've said fag a few times. You know what I'm saying? I look back at that and I cringe. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's like not a lot of cats say that now. You know, back then it was like everybody would say it. You know, you watch old TV shows or old comics too.
Oh, of course.
You have Eddie Murphy being like faggot. Like now it's like that shit wouldn't fly.
Oh my god, so many.
You know what I'm saying? So it's different. And for me too. Like I don't use that anymore. You know what I'm saying? But so it is difficult for me. But then I think it's cool. I always found that there's like you get more creative with restrictions.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing. When I used to go to this open mic that I used to go to, people could sign up to perform songs inside on the stage too. So I would sign up, but then that open mic had specific rules. You couldn't curse. So like every song you'd prepare and stuff, like what it can't have curse words. You can't say the N word. It was like for all the black dudes was like, nah, what the hell? Like it was there was mad rules. But
they're like, that's my hook.
Yeah. But literally all the artists on there, like they got crazy good and really abstract and left like thinking, you know.
It was the same thing when I was starting to do stand up. There was one comedy club where the guy was like, when you showcase, he was like, it has to be clean, which at the time we're like, oh, but everyone that I like isn't clean. But then you just do it, and it's just another way to like, because they know, I feel like they know that when you go out on your own, you're going to do whatever the fuck you want to. But I think it's more of like, if you're trying to curate, which these people are trying to do, like curate young talent, they give you those restrictions to be like, I want these people to be like creative and be able to think outside of the box instead of just trying to do like what is to them, or maybe just in general, like lowest common denominator stuff where that kind of helps, where they're like, just think of anything else.
Right.
And just focusing on that helps.
No, for sure. It was like that for me. And Yeah, and you're right. There's a lot of things that it fucks it up with social media and stuff, but it's cool.
Do you feel like battle rap has changed ever since? It seems like everything is being taped all the time. Like I don't know any battle raps that are not being videotaped simultaneously by like 500 cameras.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, battle raps are going to be taped constantly. People are going to want to tape them. I get it. Everybody wants to tape everything now.
Do you feel like that kind of? You think that helps or hurts?
No, I mean it's cool. I mean,
I don't think it affects it just because it's been going on since the beginning.
Nobody freestyle battles anymore. That's the thing.
Everything's written now. Yeah.
If people were still freestyle battling, yes, that would make an effect because like when people are freestyle battling at the time, like it's really tight. Like when you're there,
yeah,
and when you rewatch it, it sucks. Like
right.
It's never that tight as you remember. So
it's like improv. Yeah.
So it's that in that element it sucks. But then there's no freestyle battles anymore, really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean there are, but it's not hot or no one does it. Like no young kid does it. Like I swear to God, I'm telling you. So and that's the difference between that generation and them. Like back then we used to freestyle battle all the time.
Like off the top of your head, yeah.
I didn't do my first written battle was against Tantrum, which was the other Asian guy I battled on Grind Time.
Yeah,
that was my first time when they told me that's how they were doing it. Like I was shocked because I've never had done that before.
Yeah. Cause you crumbled like that shit was your first fight. What the hell, dude? Stop rapping and go sell shoes. After he lost that battle, he went to his dad, got down on his knees, and said, "I have failed you."
And I was like, "Is this right?"
Yeah.
But I did it, and it got a shitload of views, and that was definitely one of my launching like videos in my career.
So, what was like the best advice someone gave you? Did you have like a mentor kind of like getting into the industry, or did you just had to figure it out on your own?
No, I had to figure out on my own until I did meet a mentor. That's who's the guy who put me on to the YouTube stuff. His name was Brian, and he put me up on all the YouTube stuff. He was early on it. He knew about Wax, Tim, all these cats. I had no idea about these cats, and he's the one who like reached out to them and set up meetings with them.
Wow.
Linked up with him, and it was easy to meet them too because they were fans of my battles. So I was like, oh shit, that's tight. And then and then Tim was like, when I first started my YouTube channel, Tim helped me get a lot of followers off the bat.
De La Ghetto?
Yeah, Tim
talking about,
Ghetto,
okay. Yeah, we had him come by the other.
Yeah. Tim is like one of the coolest dudes off of YouTube.
He's great, man.
I would say he's like my favorite dude off of there because he's willing to help out everybody. And
that's right.
He's like, if he likes your shit, he'll help you out.
No, he is the coolest dude, bro. And he's really helped me out like from early on. He's always been supportive. I've always been supportive of him.
Yeah.
He was willing to meet with me. He already had a shitload of followers. Gave me a grip to like start off with, and I just kept putting stuff out. He always repost stuff for me. Like he's the homie. That dude is truly the man. So I wish all the success for that dude.
Having someone, especially that supportive in that genre, in that field of work, is so important. But like, did anyone ever say like, hey man, if you want to get here, avoid like whatever, or like if this is where you want to get to, here's some like things that because like a lot of young kids want to get into this. A lot of kids of color want to get into hip hop, rap, whatever it is, but like they're just like directionless. They don't know what to do,
Yeah, I mean, there's not, I would say stop thinking too much about things like that and just keep perfecting your craft.
Yeah,
I think a lot of kids early on want to think about, getting a manager.
How do I get famous?
Yeah, or like I see a lot of kids constantly wanting to send me their songs and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck you want me to do with these shits? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a fucking record label. Like, I don't know, for some reason I never sent like when I was making songs early on, I was young, I didn't send them to fools and shit. Like I didn't care.
You're like if I like it, I'm gonna put it up.
Yeah, you got a lot of these artists are fucking assholes too, bro. Like you gotta, maybe I'm an asshole too, but I'm just saying in general, like you gotta just keep focusing on your shit.
And I think that might be because everyone, it's so hard to be in this business and to keep moving forward and progressing and growing, that you have to spend so much time probably focusing on yourself and your own thing. So if 10 million people are just like, hey man, listen to my shit, and it's like, I'm not your manager.
Right.
I don't have time to sort out 300 people's careers and mine at the same time.
Well, it's not even about that. Like to me, it's more like when I get sent those things, I'm just like, yo, like I don't know. I'm just, I think they think that I can do something for them or something. You know, I'm like, yo, I can't do shit for you, but sometimes I will just randomly listen to some shit, and then if it's tight, I'll just be like, good shit, But if it's not, I'll just ignore it. So if you haven't gotten a response, it might suck. I don't know. But I mean, to me, I don't think my opinion should matter or like anybody else's should matter.
Right?
You know
what
what
I'm saying?
Art, if
man.
they send it to like whatever Kanye or Jay-Z, like I don't think their opinion should matter anyways.
Right.
Especially Kanye's right now.
Absolutely, Jesus Christ.
Oh God. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. My respect for him.
Nah, it's all good. Who knows, man? I don't know. Like the whole Trump shit. I don't even want to go into politics. I'm not I'm not super heavy like that in it.
Well, let's go into politics now. No, one thing that we will get into, just sort of kind of wrap things up, and I love hearing about people's take on spirituality and their journey through that. Were you raised in a spiritual household?
Yeah, I mean, my parents, we grew up super Christian.
Yeah. Okay.
And like a lot of Koreans do grow up Christian as well. Like if there's mad Korean churches around.
Yeah. There's one literally right down the street.
Right down the street.
Yeah.
No,
So
literally one block
block,
away.
yeah.
Not even a block, like 2 buildings down.
I went to one right here on Normandy and 5th. There's a big one right
Yeah.
there. I went to that one. I went to church with actually the family that started Forever 21. They're like billionaires.
The couple, or was it a couple?
It's a couple, and they have 2 daughters. One of the daughters is my age, but
what?
Yeah, we were like super little, but they were mad cool. They would like buy food for the church like every week. And this was like before Forever 21. They were already doing their thing, like expanding and shit. But that's a whole other story. Yeah, I mean, I grew up hella Christian. Like my parents, I think they were like more religious, like. They were acting more religious than they actually were.
It was more cultural.
They were just like, we're super Christian. We gotta go to church. I'm like, wait, you're not going to church. Like, you know what I'm saying? So but they still are, I would say, but they don't go to church every week now for sure.
Yeah.
But I definitely grew up Christian. I wouldn't say I'm a Christian now. I mean I believe in God. I would say I believe in God.
There's a higher power.
But I'm not full on like Christian. And
you're not leading bus tours and stuff everywhere. Yeah.
I would feel bad if I just said I'm Christian. I'm not partaking and going to church and stuff. Yeah. But I mean the spiritual journey for me has been like it's still going, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
It's always going. You know, like I've gone to all sorts of journeys. Yeah. Acid, mushrooms, Christianity, Buddhism.
Now do you feel like that, like gets you in a spiritual place when you are going on those trips, where it's like,
mushrooms changed my life.
Yeah,
like when I first
I've heard that by so many people. I
did mushrooms when I was freshman year in high school, and for sure, like the way it's not like I saw something or whatever. It's more like I took mushrooms, and the way I started thinking about things, like at the very moment, and like when I started thinking of things like in a different angle that I never have. I was like, oh shit, like I didn't know I could think that way, you know what I'm saying? Or I could see it from that perspective. And then when you're off of it, you might not necessarily be in the same zone, but you remember that and you're like, oh shit, like it is far more bigger, you know what I'm saying, than you ever saw it. So that's what I mean by mushrooms. It wasn't like I'm seeing leprechauns pop out of the fucking furniture and shit.
You're like, I get it. There's leprechauns everywhere.
You just reevaluate or you look at things from a different
Of course.
light,
and that's why, like a lot of the great musicians and artists and revolutionaries in the past have smoked weed and things like that and done hallucinogens. Because like it's opened up minds and made people think about things a different way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's necessary, but if it's there, then and it can do that, then why not utilize it?
For sure.
I see it as like a tool, really, than anything. So
What's next for you?
Outside of the tour, because the tour's coming up, you're doing a multi-city tour in February, I believe, or
no, end of January. I start from the West Coast and go towards the Midwest and East Coast. And everything. It's about 14 cities.
Nice.
All like the major cities.
Yeah.
And my bad, I keep burping.
No, dude, burp away, man.
All right. And it's gonna be fun, man. And I'm taking my boys Year of the Ox. It's 2 rappers from Virginia. They're dope.
Oh, Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm from Virginia.
He's from Virginia.
Are you? Northern Virginia.
Oh, them too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nova. Yeah.
Nova. Yeah. That's my hood, man.
That's tight. Yeah, my boy Lyrics and JL. They have a group called Year of the Ox. 2 Asian Korean cats.
Oh, that's awesome.
From like Fairfax. And
okay.
Stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Fairfax, right in
You
my
know, all the
neighborhood.
Koreans are in Annandale. And shit.
Annandale. Oh, shit. Good for you.
He's
I've
connected.
been there.
He's down.
I know Virginia, bro.
You're hip to.
I know every K-town in America, bro. As soon as I pull up, they're like, "Oh, table for two, right?"
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So, like,
Yeah. And
We've
they
been
take
waiting
care of
for
me.
you.
Yeah, they take care of me, bro. They take care of me.
Yeah, Little River Turnpike, man. That's where it's all popping at.
Yeah.
Are there Asian American artists that you feel are like doing it like you're the Ox?
Yeah, there's tons. There's a lot. I mean, it's hard for me to follow them. Like I wouldn't say I'm like huge fans of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm only fans of like a few that are like my friends or something.
Right.
But other than that, like I don't think anybody's like blown me away where I'm like I gotta follow you.
No, but
you know?
the fact that
I keep up with them though because they're like young Asian cat.
You're supportive, yeah.
Yeah, me and some of my Asian friends, we have this group chat. We're like it's like the Korean Illuminati or some shit. Like
No way.
Yeah, like we share any kind of new story about like Asians like casting in a film or like
So dope.
some music
That's awesome.
or like an article or some shit, and like because like I think it's important like to have that support group,
right?
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? And also
to
like
be aware.
push new talent too,
Yeah.
or look out for new talent.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't mean like, oh, I support you just because you're Asian. No, I definitely like only support you if you're like Asian and dope. You know, sometimes I'm even harder on my own people. I'm just like, yo, I want the illest motherfuckers to represent. Like, like I'm not gonna support any Korean rapper. Like, you better be fucking tight. You better be able to serve me, like real shit. So.
Yeah.
No, that's so dope that like you have that support system, because a lot of people are like, I'm the only like brown comedic, and I'm just gonna fuck shit on
been there.
everyone.
I've definitely been there. You know, when I was like growing up, and I used to go to this like boys and girls club down the street, like, and I was the only Korean kid there. It was all like Latinos and black kids and stuff, and I was the cool like Asian kid. One day, like some other Asian kid walked in, I was like, nah, there's only space for one cool Asian motherfucker. Like,
you trying to take my shine on this basketball court?
Like, oh, and you rap? Oh, motherfucker, this guy, shit. No. You know, I went through that, but nah, like I've gotten older, and you know, this is the whole identity issue thing. You know, like I've definitely learned how to approach that. And, like, grow too.
I love that, man. That's so dope.
Shit, man. So are you working on an album?
Harambe was on the Spotify charts.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys. Yeah. The new album is called We Might Die. Okay. It's a mixtape. It's same shit, whatever. Yeah. It's free. It's free download online at dumbfoundead.com.
Got it.
You could download it for free. It's only 10 tracks, but I'm really happy with how it came out.
For sure.
The song called Safe, and Harambe did really good.
Yeah.
And then we're touring that album pretty much for the end of January through February. So.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. And you will be performing like in a week or so, 2 weeks here in LA?
Oh, no. The LA show of the tour is going to be at the end of the tour.
Oh, okay. Like in February.
Because got it.
That was one, but ignore that. And it's going to be at the end of the one at the end of
Roxy?
February. Yeah, February 19th at the Roxy, Los Angeles. Nice. Get tickets now because it's starting to fill up too.
We will for sure be there.
Please, and spread the word.
Absolutely.
And also put this episode out before the tour starts. If you
Absolutely.
can.
Dude, it's going to go up in like 2 weeks.
All right, cool. Because I'm trying to sell more tickets.
No, we're for sure going to be at the LA show, you know. And,
our fans give a shit, man.
Awesome.
They'll come out.
Yeah, thanks for the support, man. You guys
of course,
come out.
Yeah. We got to help our people of color doing dope shit, you know.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
But it has to be dope.
It has to be dope. and you happen to be dope as shit.
You know? Good looking out. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know about you guys until you reached out.
Bro, I apologize for like blowing up your DM.
He's mad thirsty for these guests, man.
No. Honestly, it's not even about.
Slid into like his DMs, and I would text him like every day. But
no, it's always like that. It's always like that, and at some point you find it annoying, and then after you'll be like, I respect it, and you'll be like, no, it's annoying again, and then then that's what you have to do because everybody agrees. It's easy to be like, yeah, I'm down, and then they start ignoring your calls.
But I just appreciate that you were like, yeah, I'm so down. Even after I like harassed you for like 2 months straight, you still were
it also looks like you guys are doing some good shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just like hop on like any fucking shit, but if it's like some shit that's you guys are doing something and like it's growing, like I'm all about that. You know what I'm saying? But if it's like some bullshit project that you just thought of all of a sudden when you were stoned, like no, I'm not gonna do it. Like let's do a podcast.
Be in our Korean sketch we're doing.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you again for coming out, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah,
all
thanks,
right, man.
Thank you.
Oh man, time went by quick. Okay. I have a lot of respect for the guy.
This guy, he really did it. He's not some guy who was just like, hey, I'm gonna rap in my bedroom. Like he went out. You know, I do stand up, and what he does if you're that young going into the South Side and battle rapping, like I knew some people who did that in Chicago, and it was just like terrifying. To just go out there and you have to spit off the top of your head. I have a hard time talking off the top of my head.
It's really hard. And just like the nerves that go into like the battle rap at these like venues with like hundreds and hundreds of people. Like you guys saw some of the clips that we had in the interview.
He was living 8 Mile.
Yeah, man. And he's super talented and he's very well respected. And I'm, again, really happy that he came by this, our podcast, and he gave us that opportunity.
And I like that he sort of showcased that, you know, in the hip hop community, like it wasn't like a racial thing. It was just like, if you're good, you're good. And if you suck, you suck.
But like in the like hip hop, but I feel like the battle rap, it was all like targeting like, I mean, it's
but like
super racist.
You got to have the skill set to deal with it, and he did, man. He conquered that, and now he's making music. And check out his mixtape, by the way, like he was saying.
And make sure we're gonna put a link for his tour dates, man.
Go see him live. He's fun.
It's affordable tickets, man. Get it before it's sold out, and just like catch this guy. Like
support people, man. Especially if you live in LA or if you're on any of the other tour dates. You know, go support local people who are pushing diverse.
Spend like 2 hours getting to know this artist, man. And like, you know what, the Korean Americans need to stand up for him, and everyone else, the people of color, man, support your artists. They're good, they're talented. You know what, thank you, and support us by checking out our Patreon page.
Yes, because we are the #1 video podcast.
We are.
And the only way that's not true is if you don't subscribe and make us look like a liar. So don't make us look like liars.
When we're asking you, man, support us. All you got to do is subscribe. And then you know what? Apparently there's this thing called turning notifications on. There's like a little bell on the app.
Oh.
On the YouTube app, you go to our like thing and you hit like notify me every time they upload a video. So every Monday morning it'll be like bloop.
There's a new podcast
episode by, you know, the dopest podcast on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for watching. Check out last week's episode with our it might be my favorite episode just because like it went so weird.
With Philip Wang from Wong Fu.
Philip Wang from Wong Fu.
And the one before that with Megan Batoon.
The
one before that with Tamara Dia.
The one before that with Karen
Sony.
Was he the one before that? Her? I think so.
And
we got some great people coming up, man. We got some really hot names. Just be ready.
We're keeping it consistent. We got hot ass guests.
Oh yeah. I'm so excited. Like our podcast, like,
do you think we're the 2 most handsome podcasters? Probably, yeah. Probably.
Undeniable.
Shout out to Zane. Hopefully he'll come in here.
Shout out to Zane.
We appreciate you guys trying to get, we're going to keep the push to get Mike Shinoda from Lincoln Park on our podcast.
Tweet Mike Shinoda and let him know to come by the apartment.
I don't think you guys realize how much this will affect Ali Baluch. If Mike Shinoda is here, he will be. Here's the thing.
I'll be a puddle.
I will have to get one of those.
I'll just be a puddle of liquid.
I'm gonna have to get one of those medical kits with like a defibrillator, because the moment he sees Mike Shinoda, he's gonna pass out, and I'm gonna be like clear, and I'm like, and I'm gonna have to try waking him up to do some bullshit questions, and he's also gonna have a full boner the entire time, which is fine. But this is really gonna change his life. But also, the real reason we wanted him was because he's the first Asian American person to be the front man of a band that sold
rap band,
that sold like millions and millions and millions of
Hybrid
records.
Theory was the highest selling album of the 2000s. You know that?
I did not know that.
From 2000 to like 2010, highest selling album of that one, like double diamond or platinum or some shit.
Yeah. Zayn has to catch up.
Yeah, so Zayn will never get those numbers. Anyway,
we love you, Zayn. We love you, Zayn. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Shout out to our producer, Sumair Khan. And we'll see you guys next week. This is The Apartment. Bye.